Hi everyone. So our presentation is on respecting differences, social studies and art, and we did it based on a first grade lesson. So the first grade unit focuses on respecting differences to build empathy, kindness, and community. It supports students as they begin exploring identity and understanding others. Respecting differences is a developmentally appropriate theme that helps students appreciate diverse backgrounds and abilities. It fosters inclusion and compassion early on. This unit connects across subjects, social studies, math, ELA, and art, through activities that highlights identity, fairness, and inclusion. The KWL chart helps track students' growth in understanding what it means to respect differences. Here, vocabulary integration, students will engage with vocabulary like respect, community, and belonging through simple definitions, real-life examples, and support visuals. These words are embedded through the unit to reinforce understanding and promote inclusive language. For our Monday lesson, we'll use the standard about explaining why we have rules and laws at home, school, and in our community. We'll also use the reading standards about making inferences to help us understand stories. Our objective, our objective is that after our discussion and activities, students will be able to identify at least 2 classroom rules and explain how these rules help us respect each other's differences. The activities for these lessons include reading Our Class is a Family by Shannon Olson, having a class discussion about why we have rules, and then creating classroom rules together that promote kindness and respect. Students will also fill out the K and W parts of a KWL chart about what they know and want to know about rules. The students will be assessed through teacher observation during the discussion and rule creations, as well as by reviewing what they write on their KWL chart. For our Tuesday lesson, we'll use the standard about helping students identify their responsibilities at school, along with the standard that focuses on sharing ideas clearly in complete sentences. The objective is for students to show they understand the difference between rights and responsibilities by participating in a class discussion and a partner sorting activity and correctly identifying at least 3 examples with support. The activities will include reading We're All Wonders by R.J. Palacio, having a discussion about how the character feels different, and then working with a partner to sort cards into rights and responsibilities. Students will be assessed through teacher observation during the discussion and by checking how they sorted their cards during the partner activity. Here, for Wednesday, we're using the standard about understanding information from primary sources and another about how art can share information about cultures. The objective is that after analyzing a self-portrait and discussing it together, students will create their own self-portrait that includes at least one symbol showing who they are. Activities will include analyzing a self-portrait by Frida Kahlo using the See, Think, Wonder routine. Then students will create their own self-portrait with symbols that represent their identity. Finally, students will write or share a few sentences describing their artwork. Students will be assessed through teacher observation during the discussion and by reviewing both their self-portraits and the sentences they create about their art. For Thursday's lesson, we'll use the standard about explaining why we have rules and laws along with music standards about sharing thoughts and feelings people might have about music. The objective is that after listening to music from different cultures and discussing it, students will be able to describe at least one way music or traditions can show who we are. The activities include listening to music from different cultures, discussing what the students noticed and how it made them feel, and then drawing and writing a couple of sentences about a celebration or music they know from their own lives. Students will be assessed through teacher observation during the discussion and by checking the drawings and sentences they create. For Friday, our standards include using acting to show ideas, presenting information clearly when speaking, and explaining why we have rules and laws. The objective is that after the read aloud and discussion, students will be able to act out a short scene showing what it means to respect others. Activities include a read aloud of The Name Jar by Yang-Suk Choi, doing a reader's theater where students act out a scene about including others, and then discussing why names are important and how they relate to identity. Students will be assessed through teacher observation during their group performance and from what they shared during the group reflection. For the following Monday, we'll use the standard about explaining students' rights and responsibilities at school, as well as the science standard about telling living things apart from non-living things. The objective is, after our class discussion and science activity, students will explain one way people or animals can be different and why that difference is important or special. The activities will include comparing animal patterns and butterfly wings, reading It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Parr, and then designing their own animal that celebrates differences. Students will be assessed by reviewing the animal drawings and by listening to or reading a sentence explaining what makes their animal unique. For Tuesday, we'll use the standard about understanding primary sources and the reading standards about identifying main story elements. The objective is that after listening to a biography and discussing the person's actions, student will be able to share one way the person showed respect or kindness and why it mattered. Activities will include a read aloud of Martin's Big Word by Doreen Rappaport, analyzing a primary source photo of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., having a class discussion on fairness, and making kindness collages in groups. Students will be assessed based on their participation and ideas in their group kindness collage. On Wednesday, we'll use the math standard about collecting and organizing data and the speaking standard about sharing ideas and complete sentences. The objective is that after the survey and graphing activities, students will identify one way we can have different opinions and still show respect to each other. Activities include doing a quick survey of favorite likes of food, color, or hobbies, graphing the class results, having a discussion about our differences, and creating a reflection drawing about something they like. Students will be assessed by checking the graph we create together and by looking at the reflection drawing. For Thursday, our standards focus on moving in different ways during physical activities and speaking clearly about what we did. The objective is that after working together in a team activity, students will describe one way their group showed respect for each other's strength or ways of playing. Activities include playing group games like hula hoop challenges and reflecting afterward on how everyone contributed differently. Students will be assessed by using teacher checklists on a group collaboration and by looking at the reflection drawing or smiley face self-assessment. For our final Friday, we'll use the standard about using acting to show ideas and explaining our rights and responsibilities. The objective is that after performing a class play and reflecting, students will explain one way they can show respect and kindness to others. Activities will include doing a final Reader's Theater's performance by respect and kindness, and then doing a reflection drawing or writing activity about what they learned. Students will be assessed based on their performance in the play and the reflections they create afterwards. Books like Books like The Name Jar and We're All Wonders, along with digital tools like BrainPop and Learning for Justice, help students connect with the theme in meaningful ways. So here you have resources, a full list of resources that you can use and find. Our synopsis is this lesson plans the lesson plan designed as well as overall unit were created to help young learners understand and respect differences in others as a team. We designed it to integrate social studies meaningfully in a first grade classroom while encouraging students to think critically about identity, kindness, inclusion, and diversity. Through hands-on cross-curricular activities, students made real-life connections and learned to value what makes each of us unique. To address prior knowledge and misconceptions, we used KWL chart and strategies like See, Think, Wonder. Students learned that not everyone celebrates the same holidays or looks the same, even within the same species of family. We use visuals, stories, and thoughtful questioning to guide these discoveries, including powerful discussions inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the end, this unit helps students build academic skills while also developing emotional insight, cultural awareness, and a sense of belonging. They didn't just learn about differences, they learned to celebrate them. And here are more resources that you can find on this slide, as well as this one. Thank you, and this is the end of our presentation.